Guys, I heard from you guys that there was something going on with the FDA changing labeling on testosterone, which is something I keep up with all the time. But you guys were very excited about it. What is going on? What is the FDA doing? What's changing?
So in a broad overview, all testosterone containing medications, the labels or the package inserts contain boxed warnings, which is the most serious type of warning from the FDA regarding an increased risk of major cardiovascular events like heart attack and stroke. So
I didn't know that.
Yes. And so that was in every package insert, kind of very clearly stated. And now the kind of the new development is that the FDA has recommended that this particular type of language be removed.
Oh.
The main reason behind this is the emergence or the really the finishing touches of a trial that was set out to further investigate these risks. So they have those results, or at least they have what they need to make a stronger opinion on the change. So that was a big part of this. And then also, there are some other minor changes, some language that they're keeping, including the limitations of use, which is basically just saying all of this applies to a very specific group. This is not talking about major cardiovascular events or talking about indications for this group or that group. It's just true hypogonadism in, as with aging, basically.
So you're saying that the ASCVD risk, as described by the original box warning, is overstated a safe word?
So it's technically not ASCVD risk.
Okay.
It's just major adverse cardio events.
Okay.
Basically.
But it was still not as bad as it was made to seem.
That, yes. And that the trial that they used to, again, make this determination, it's called the TRAVERSE trial. So testosterone replacement therapy for assessment of long-term vascular events and efficacy response in hypogonadal men. So the TRAVERSE trial, those are unreal.
Yeah, they work really hard on those names.
Yeah,
it's very funny.
They did a great job.
They do. And so what they ultimately found was that testosterone replacement therapy was non-inferior to placebo regarding major adverse events. So more simply put, it just didn't show any increased risk as compared to placebo.
Okay.
And so,
oh wow, then it's not just overstated, it's wrong according to that study.
Yeah, and I think, I think there's kind of a lot to unpack here, but while we're on that part of the subject, that was sort of the issue, was all this reporting came in the early 2010s that sort of, I would say, more or less scared the FDA into doing something. There's this influx of reports. And so they felt that the best thing to do at that time was just like, hey, we maybe don't know the kind of the exact signal that's occurring here, but we need to be careful. This seems like it might be related to the testosterone medications that are being used.
Sure.
They slap this warning on the products. Fast forward 15, 16 years, and we have a little bit better handling on this specific population, and that, the risk of these events was possibly a little overstated.
Yeah, it seems like, I don't know what you saw in looking at maybe some of those initial reports. There was a lot of correlative data.
Yeah.
These were not, placebo-controlled double-blind studies moving forward. They were looking backward. A lot of them were also very small. And so along with this big TRAVERSE study, it was kind of done hand in hand. I don't know maybe what the impetus was, but there is a testosterone oral pill that they were looking to get approved. And so again, I don't know what the exact interlink is, but along with the approval process for that medication, this large study was done right around the same time.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Fascinating. So theoretically, the oral medication is going to get approved?
Yes.
Because they found that it wasn't.
Yeah, of course, the drug company is taking some responsibility that they played a role in this, in the TRAVERSE study. And there may be some truth, but again, where it started first, and
right.
But yeah, it was just interesting that kind of was the timing. So it was a good time to relook at everything, given that approval for a major, medication and a novel delivery mechanism of it, because you always, are typically dealing with injections. and creams, whereas this will be an oral that's absorbed via the lymphatic system that you can take instead of those other two.
This is exciting in the sense that I don't think there are a ton of time. We hear about the FDA adding warnings pretty regularly. We don't often hear about them removing warnings. Can you think of any other times that this has happened?
Man, I'm sure that there are. I don't know. Off the top of my head, I probably couldn't.
But in general, you're right. You're typically looking at medications on the market have a warning added to them. It's that occurs much more often than the subtraction. But yeah, I can't say either that, oh, this is the first, or I can only remember another one. But it's, yes, your general point is correct. Yes.
Yeah. And ultimately they're just cleaning up what was on there. I mean, it was such a broad sort of warning that at least now with this trial that they can, they're not just removing everything. And so I think that's a good segue into what's actually going to be on these labels. So they're planning to put the results of the Traverse trial on there.
Okay.
So that a practitioner, whoever this product is dispensed to, I guess if they're interested, they can see directly where this information is coming from. This is the trial. This is the amount of people. This is what was shown. This was what was shown so that we now feel this way. And then they also added, in addition to, cleaning up that language, they're also adding a warning about increased risk of high blood pressure. So
interesting.
There's no specific warning about that currently. So there was another, I believe it was a study or subset of studies that looked at ambulatory blood pressure monitoring. So blood pressure monitoring from home, just out in the world. And they did see a modest increase amongst those individuals taking testosterone medications. So it allows for a little more of a targeted conversation, I think, when assessing risks and benefit of a treatment like this. So instead of just like, hey, it's this big nebulous, it could be this, it could be a stroke, it could be a heart attack, it could be.
Do you have a heart? Then you're at risk.
Right. Now it's a little more like, hey, we see that some people, maybe it's depending on the dose, maybe it's depending on the form, but if you have hypertension, if you're predisposed to hypertension, or whatever, you're just trying to weigh the different options here, it's at least now something that's more specifically marked.
That's fantastic. That's really, I love when things get more clear, less murky in these sorts of situations.